show. It is our Friday Facebook Live, not Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and YouTube Live.
YouTube. So just Pat and JT Live.
Yep, it's our Pat and JT Live.
There we go. Which will be coming back again on Monday too.
That's right. I like doing it on Monday as well.
If we do that right.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. So hopefully everybody made it through St. Patrick's Day. I did not get any corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was going to, and I was kind of disappointed. There were a couple of Irish bars that are on the way home between Jack's daycare, my dog Jack, between Jack's daycare and home. And I looked online to see what their St. Patrick's Day special, because I'm thinking they probably, and they even both had order online options. Neither one of them had a special for corned beef and cabbage. I would have thought you'd put it right on the website and you could just hit the button, order online, drive in, pick up your order to go and get your corned beef and cabbage and rock. It wasn't even on the menu.
That's stupid. That needs to be a chapter in your book. This is how it should have happened.
Right?
Chapter.
You think
we up to 4,563 right now?
By this time, you'd think I'd have it all covered. But I couldn't believe it. I was just like, missed opportunity, because like driving home, I would really love to swing by and pick up something to go. Wow. I know that a lot of people, maybe some of them were out. Maybe they'd been open all day, but you know, your only customers aren't the ones that are in the bar drinking.
No. Yeah.
I was game.
Yeah. Right? It's funny because we have our fact checker segment, Nick Pickey, coming up here in a second, and he recorded this morning. And it's going to be on video. It's not going to be live. And I think I don't miss the days of waking up the day after St. Patrick's Day, hungover, and feel like I got hit by a herd of deer. Like that feeling. I don't miss that feeling. I remember back in the day, it was super fun, loved it, but man, it just rough the next day.
It was, and I noticed that. Speaking of which, Nick is complaining the fact that you put an 8 a.m. meeting the day after St. Patrick's Day on the calendar. Mm-hmm. He's in the comments today, by the way, just so y'all know. Mm-hmm.
I did. Yeah. I didn't even think about it because it's not St. Patrick's Day.
It's not on your radar.
Nope. And I never schedule 8 o'clock meetings anyway, but I'm like, well, let's get it done. We got our live. And that was a pretty big old D move. And I didn't mean it
to be. Well, regardless, I think hopefully everybody made it through. And well, then again, a lot of people probably took Friday off too. So they could have a nice long weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Between St. Patrick's Day, basketball, all that other good stuff going on. That I'm sure there are plenty of reasons to take a couple days. So, all right.
Well, speaking of Nick Pickey, we need to find out what we screwed up this past week on our episodes. Here he is.
What's up, Pat and JT? It was another great week on the show, but it's time for the weekly fact check. And Heidi's episode, first off, loved Heidi on the show. Bring her back in more often. But on Heidi's episode, you all were discussing what if there was a word that meant when two words like describe the same thing. And on the show, everyone thought it was that word synonym, but Pat was like, "Oh no, there's another word to describe it." And I had the same feeling while listening. I remember some like weird English word that you like learned in 10th grade English class. And that word is a pleonasm. And it's a redundancy in linguistics expressing such things as like black darkness or a burning fire. Like both words burning and fire both mean the same thing. So pleonasm. I wouldn't have been able to think about that. But that was only fact check on the week. Nice job. We have some fun stuff coming up, so I'm excited to share it with everyone. But stay tuned.
I love the word pleonasm, so I wasn't thinking of that. That's super smart. It sounds. If I had dropped that, I would have sounded super smart.
We would have known you looked it up.
Right. Like I've never, there's no way that word is not in my vocabulary ever.
I'm going to stick with redundant.
Yeah.
Because actually pleonasm is a redundancy, right? It's a redundancy of two words. So redundant. So yeah. We're going to dumb it down, Nick. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Before we get going on some of the other stories that are out there, Pat came in hot this morning.
Oh, I got breaking news, yo.
Yeah.
It's fun when you can see someone's dreams come true right in front of your eyes and have a camera, have a video, have recording video. So we've talked about, well, hold on. First of all, I'm going to play the intro and then I'll tell a little bit about it.
You have an intro?
I have an intro. This is big deal. It is I like squirrels. Squirrel news.
That's your wife, by the way.
Yeah, that's
it's not some random.
I like squirrels.
Okay.
That's my wife. And I got to see her dreams come true yesterday. We've talked about the squirrels for a long time. We've had our little Paul's Cafe in the back, the little picnic table. Been feeding them, and she's gotten pretty close to these squirrels. And I know I hear it. Don't blow up the comments. I know it's not a good idea. These squirrels are going to overtake our house. I 100% understand. But when I get to see the light in her eye, when yesterday, a squirrel took an almond from her hand, from her fingers. Here it is. And I have it on video.
Oh my God.
Listen to my reaction when this happens. You can hear me go, it's
amazing. My God.
Her face at the end is my absolute favorite. One more time. Listen to my, here it is. She tells the girl, good job. As the mic.
Oh my God. Do you remember watching the videos? Chris Shelton feeds his squirrel on his back deck. He like comes to the door. The squirrel like practically comes up and, hey, dude, where you at, bud? And
wasn't there a raccoon too?
I don't know if there's a raccoon. I think it was just a squirrel.
Yeah, I think you've had just raccoons, hot dogs.
I can't. I don't remember that. But I do remember him feeding his squirrel. And the thing would come up the sidewalk and come up on the porch and sit there like, well,
yeah,
get out here, dude. Get out here, big boy. Give me that nut. Yeah.
And if you're just listening to this and you're not watching our Facebook Live or whatever, go to our Facebook page and watch the video. Otherwise, and I'll also post just the video of her so you can go to our private group. So sign up for our Pat and JT private group. It's free, obviously. And we'll post it in there later on today.
Just awesome.
So that is our squirrels.
Is that last noise supposed to be a squirrel?
It is a squirrel. I Googled, you should see my squirrel my squirrel history, my YouTube search history this morning, trying to find squirrel noises. Yep. That was a squirrel that was alerting. It was like calling attention to other squirrels. So that I picked that one because he was telling other squirrels.
I like when my squirrels go like they make that real clicking noise almost.
Yeah.
When they're pissed at my dog. Yeah. Which, by the way, Jack had a spa day yesterday, just so you know. And head to toe. He gets like one bath a year, maybe two, because just for his hair and skin, they usually don't need it. A good blowout's a good thing. Like get a good brush out and blow out, but you really don't have to wash them that often. You can if you want, if they're dirty. I'm not judging, but this is good for him. Anyway, so he has special German Shepherd dog shampoo because he has kind of dry skin. And he got the whole treatment yesterday, and he smells good and he's shiny and he's got that undercoat all brushed out. So he's sleeping right now. He was at daycare yesterday for 10 hours.
Oh, he's super tired right now.
Oh my God. We played a little Frisbee this morning. He's crashed right now on the couch.
So he's like hungover too.
I think he is. I think maybe they partied.
Maybe that little dog would nip. I don't know if dogs have nip. Do they?
Oh, well, not really.
No.
But all right. So stories that are going on. First off, we talked about Dolly Parton in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she bowed out. She said, "You know what? I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not going to do it. I haven't put out a rock and roll album. I shouldn't be considered for this." Whereas they argued, "You've been so influential to so many people." And now the story comes out that they are going to nominate her against her will. She could
that's nice.
She could still end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year against her wishes. They released a statement defending their decision to nominate her. Even though she wanted to withdraw, they said, listen, it's just too late. We can't pull your name back. So they said, your music's impacted generations of fans, influenced countless artists, and the nomination stands.
Yeah.
So she's been nominated along with another 16 for the class of 2022. That was all sent out to their ballot holders earlier this month, about 1,200 ballot holders. So the majority of them are artists who, oh my God, who is texting me? What?
Sounds like a squirrel.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let me just turn that off. Anyway, I hope it's not an emergency. But so she is in contention. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I'm kind of thinking more about my comments yesterday about it and about, come on,
Did
darling.
you feel bad?
No, I didn't feel bad. I still feel the same way about all of it, but I think that just because an organization wants to reward someone, the other person doesn't have to necessarily say, thank you so much, I love it. They can still say, you got this trophy, we're honoring you, we're putting it in our den or whatever, the whatever room. They don't have to like receive it. They can still give the award to her. And she's like, I don't want it. Thank you, but I appreciate it. But thank you so much. But I don't want it.
Turn down the award. Oh,
yeah. Or
that'd
just
be awful, wouldn't it?
I guess not turn down the award, but just
take it and say thank you.
Just say thank you and don't take the award. I mean, don't physically take the award.
So I'm not sure how many. I think what they say 7. No. 7 of the nominees are on here for the first time. There's 16 nominees. So how many do they take? Do we know that answer?
I have no clue.
Why do I feel like it's like 5 or 6 or something like that? I'm not really sure. But the nominees, some of them that she's up against: Lionel Richie, Dionne Warwick, Dolly Parton on the list, Judas Priest, Eurythmics, Eminem, Duran Duran, Devo, Pat Benatar. Pat Benatar should have been a long time ago.
Right.
Holy cow. I think she's a shoo-in. Carly Simon's on the list too.
Well, now, especially now that she doesn't want it, of course she's going to win it. People, whoever's voting, will make sure of that.
This is probably true.
Yeah.
They said, she even explained further. She says it's kind of like putting AC/DC in the Country Music Hall of Fame. It just feels out of place.
But she's working on a rock album now.
Well, she claims she should put one out.
Oh, I thought okay.
That's all it was. Yeah, I know you heard every other word. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's got to make it interesting for you.
Oh, it does. On the back end, when I'm trying to figure out what the hell what was going on.
Saw a hilarious headline about Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. We talked about her tattoos yesterday briefly, or his tattoos, I should say. And the fact this is the weird part to me is he's been getting tattoos removed, and we even had the commercial. I don't remember who the commercial was, but it was about making good decisions. And he was having tattoos removed because he has so many of them. Do you remember seeing that commercial?
No.
And he's literally, and I can't remember who he was hired for. But anyway, he's in the commercial, and it's something about good decisions or something. But and that shows him getting tattoos removed, because you got to do that. And then he's putting them back on his body for her.
Branding, so like even worse than tattoos.
Back up the tattoos, because I'm getting there. You always jump to the wrap. I'm like,
I think I did it for I did the same thing for that story yesterday too.
God, Kim Kardashian, she got branded, or he got branded. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back to the tattoo part where I'm going with this is he literally has 3 tattoos, and not just and they're not her name. The tattoos are not her names. Her favorite one is "My girl is a lawyer." Okay. That's one of his tattoos. It's insane. But the headline is Pete Davidson removing tattoos, decides to go full Yellowstone for Kim Kardashian. If you watch Yellowstone, you understand what that means, because there's there's branding involved of the guys in the bunkhouse, or not even just the guys. The bunkhouse peeps go through a branding ceremony for Yellowstone. So I thought it was pretty cool. So anyway, in the story, it's pretty, you understand it plays so big in Yellowstone storyline. But when you talk about Pete Davidson getting a brand of her name, because he wanted something that was more permanent, that couldn't just be lasered off.
Or how about just not laser it off? Like if you put her name, just promise yourself you'll never laser it off. Like
but I mean,
down and laser it off.
He's getting some things removed because they no longer matter to him, which is the whole point of if you get a tattoo or a brand, it's pretty permanent.
I mean, yeah,
brand is really permanent.
Superb.
But you might remember too, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
When he proposed to her and he gave her that ring that had thorns on it.
So
she remember that?
Take it off, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Weird.
She married him. She kind of had to. She couldn't get the ring off.
Yeah, I don't think I think they're kind of in the same boat on the weirdness, though.
But it just seems weird. And when she was on Ellen, she also said something about she's the happiest she's ever been.
Oh, well, that's good.
Big slam to Kanye.
Okay. So yeah. Well, I mean, it is a huge slam for Kanye. I will give you that.
So happy as she's ever been. Sorry about the birth of my children. Sorry.
I mean, poor Kanye. I know there's all these backhanded digs. 100%. I know.
And then they also caught them going through drive-through. She was driving, he was riding shotgun, and they were going through the drive-through at In-N-Out.
Okay.
In-N-Out Burger. And I'm thinking, if you really want to be low key,
Uber Eats.
Thank you.
Well, we've said that a million times. There are celebrities that have babies and they have full families and nobody's ever seen the kids. They don't know about them. And then there's people like this that complain about the paparazzi, but yet they go through freaking In-N-Out.
100%. Yeah. So there was quite the spread of pictures. I was on TMZ's site and I came across a couple other stories that were kind of interesting too. You watch NCIS?
Yeah, no, I don't anymore, but I used to. I love that show.
Love that show. They're filming right now in California for their next season. I don't know, 18, 22. I don't know how many seasons they've had, but they just had a story come out about them. And apparently they've had like 18 of the members fall sick Thursday morning. They all fell sick Thursday morning. Don't know why yet.
Ooh, that's weird.
Kind of a mystery illness, like losing their cookies, tossing the cookies kind of thing. All of them got sick at the same time. So they shut everything down. They're trying to figure out what was involved and if it was food poisoning, what the source was or something. But 18 people, that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
That's crazy. But I was glad to see that they are back in filming because I like that show. That's a good one. Another Pete Davidson story. Did not know this, but apparently he was signed up to go up in space with Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin.
I heard it this morning, and that's the first I had heard of it. I had no clue that was going to happen.
He backed out because they pushed the launch date back. But I'm like, you were what? You were going up in space? I'm like, wait a minute. So it's going to be the 20th flight is what they're planning on. And it shifted to Tuesday, March 29th, if you want to be sure to watch it.
I'll probably watch it on they have they stream all their stuff online. So I'll probably watch it.
Might as well.
Wow.
So there's that. And let's see here. What was the other story that popped up this morning? Oh, yes. Wendy Williams. Apparently now she's ready to come back. Remember, we were just talking about this like 2 weeks ago.
Huh? It was going to be done.
Sherry Shepherd was stepping in for her, right?
Yeah, Sherry
She was
Shepherd.
going to fill in for her and take over the show until Wendy could come back.
Right.
And they didn't see that being anything in the foreseeable future. So now she's come forward and she says, I have the mind and body of a 25-year-old.
That happens in 2 weeks? No, it doesn't.
She is all ready to go now.
Okay, I hope so. I like Wendy Williams, so I hope she is. Good for her.
And I got to give her credit. She's a little bit much for me, but that's the character she's created, right? She's, I think she is a caricature of herself. But she is a bit much.
And that's right. That's the character that she built. The woo, Wendy. Yeah, she's just in your face, loud, and has opinions on everything, and that's why I like her.
And yeah, kind of extreme.
Yes.
Woo!
Right.
Gets out there.
Yep.
Hi, Allie. Allie's in the mentions, by the way. She says Dolly is queen. Tennessee has convinced her. Yep, they moved to Tennessee. God, how long have you guys been in Tennessee now, Allie?
It's been like since 3 years, 4
years.
I
mean,
yeah.
Well, it's been 3 years. Yeah, we've been 3 years, 3.5. Well, coming up, I guess. So it was 3 years ago. She was on our podcast, and they were still in town.
Yep.
So maybe about 3 years.
I'm glad you still check in, Allie.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Speaking of 3 years too, Jussie Smollett's still in the news headlines. It was 3 years ago in January that all went down.
Yeah.
If you can believe that.
It's amazing how fast time is going.
Yeah. And he's now, as we said, out right now. He didn't even have to put any money down on that bond. 2 years in Nashville or in Tennessee. Very good. Thank you, Allie. But yeah, Jussie, he's out on the streets now and didn't have to put any money down to do that while they continue his appeals process.
Wow.
Crazy.
It must be nice to have influence.
Absolutely crazy. And then other than that, I guess really the biggest story that's out there, and if you probably have seen it out there, is the Leah Thomas story about the NCAA championships.
Yeah.
And her being accredited as, well, she is the first transgender swimmer to win a national championship, an NCAA Division I championship. She swims for the University of Pennsylvania. Problem is, she's out swimming the other competitors who are at the top of their game. I think she won the 500 meter, and second place was like 8 seconds behind her, 7 or 8 seconds. And the rest of them were kind of in that group together. And a lot of people are really pissed off about this.
Yeah, I understand why. I completely get it.
Yeah.
And it's not a not understanding thing. It's not anything. It's just I don't like it.
It's meant to be to have the playing field as level as possible. And the rules that Penn State is going by. And by the way, before she transitioned, she swam for 3 years on the men's team. And then she was required to sit out. I think it was that 1 year of the suppression. What is it? Low testosterone or testosterone suppression therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she had to just 1 year of that before being eligible to come back to compete. And yeah,
it just doesn't. It just isn't fair. I can't, but thinking about the other girls that the second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, that have worked their whole lives too, just like she did when she was on the men's team, worked super hard, and it just doesn't seem fair.
Well, let's look at the qualifying round. The first person who didn't make the finals, that's whose place she took.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the person who would be the most upset.
And they did talk to a lot of the athletes. And as a matter of fact, there was even a little back and forth between a magazine calling out Caitlyn Jenner because Caitlyn is not a fan of this at all. And Caitlyn Jenner had said something about it. And then they said Caitlyn Jenner launching yet another disgraceful attack on trans athletes without a hint of irony, to which Caitlyn responded, "No, I just had the balls to stand up for women and girls in sports."
I just had the balls. That's funny. That's a great comment.
There you go.
I just had the balls.
All right. So this last week, I'm sure you want to talk about what went down this last week and how things are going.
Yeah. Total Ship Show. We talked about it last week with Malia White from Below Deck. We launched the show on Tuesday, and it's going great. I mean, she's in the top 25 podcasts on iTunes, which is huge. YouTube's blown up, and it's really cool. And they were in town, and then I'll tell you this real quick too. Yes, the day that we released it, she actually got injured in real life, and she sent a picture. I'll show that after we play this thing here in a second. But they were in town beginning of February. Her and Amanda recording here in Omaha. You and I did a whole episode with them, and we were going to play the week that it comes out, which would have been in a perfect world today or yesterday or Tuesday or whatever. But your boy deleted it accidentally. I don't know how. I don't. Sometimes I don't. When I am doing something, it's like I do it fast. I just do it. Sometimes I need to calm down and slow down. I think when I was clearing out files, I deleted it.
I read a really interesting story the other day about multitasking, and that humans are not as much as people want to say, I'm really great at multitasking. You're probably not. You're not geared. People aren't geared for it. And I think that it just adds more anxiety and stress to people's lives when they think other people are capable of doing it and they should be able to do the same thing.
Well, yeah, think about, when Pilgrims and Vikings, they would build a ship. They build a ship, kill a seal. They kill a seal. Like, they're not killing a seal and building a ship at the same time. Like, they focus on one thing and do it. Right.
Might forget to connect that board to that other, and then the ship sinks. I don't know. Who knows, right?
Yep.
Oh my God, Pat. This isn't as bad as a ship sinking, but
no, it's not. It's a little dramatic.
We're gonna have to redo the episode so we can have them both on our.
And that's 100%. That has to happen when they're in town again. But last week I'm like, well, we got to have something. She's got to be on with us, and I'm gonna get in trouble. I deleted it, whatever. So I had her, asked her. I didn't have her. I asked her to kindly.
Malia, do this.
Malia, do this now. To kindly go off of her yacht and get her recording stuff, and let's record a little interview about the show.
Did you tell her to get off her yacht?
I asked her to, but she
didn't.
Get
off your yacht. Get off your lazy yacht.
Right. Yeah. So this is from last week. Okay. She was kind enough to let me see. I got to grab it here. When she was kind enough to come and talk to me about Total Ship Show. So, Malia, I have to be totally honest with you. The reason why we're doing this for a second time, because you were in town. What was it? February 2nd, 3rd, 4th?
Yeah, around there.
And you guys were all dressed up. You look fantastic. You were on set. You were here in Omaha. You were in the middle of shooting Total Ship Show, recorded an episode of our podcast, and it was awesome, and I deleted it. So that's why. That's why.
Ouch.
I appreciate you doing this again.
Yeah, no problem. I've got lots of spare time, so this is good.
Yeah. You have a ton of spare time. Well, and so we're recording this on Friday. What is it? The 11th. And what did you just do today? What happened today?
I just passed GMDSS, which is one of the modules for my officer's ticket.
That's awesome. And I know that when you're not back in the United States that much, but you have been recently. And when you're not, I mean, you were in class a lot when you were here.
Yeah, every day. And then when I wasn't in class, I was studying. So
yeah,
I had no life.
So except for the time that you were, did you study when you were here in town?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just podcasting.
Well, so what does this eventually means that you could eventually be a captain?
Yeah, well, it's for my officer of the watch. So that'll be the next ticket that I am trying to achieve. So that'll allow me to be like a chief mate and, spend more time in the bridge. So eventually, yes, be a captain.
So as far as the levels of yachting go, bosun, and what are the levels? But how far underneath captain is bosun?
So captain, chief officer, second officer, bosun is what my boat's at right now. So for me, this will allow me to become an officer, so I get to spend more time in the bridge. And then my next license is my Master 3000.
Got it. Ooh, that sounds super fancy.
Woo! Yeah.
Master 3000. So I'm super proud of Total Ship Show. I know I've told you that a million times, but I'm super proud of the show. And first of all, thank you for trusting us and not thinking I was too creepy, sliding into your DMs saying, "Hey, dude, let's do a podcast." I know it took a minute to respond, but that's fine. You eventually did, and then we're making something pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Being in Omaha, it was freezing, so it's kind of nice.
It was literally one.
It was so cold. But yeah, I'm so excited for it as well. Thanks for trusting me and all these ship stories.
Yeah, no, it is fascinating. So, I mean, people that watch Below Deck Med, they see not only do they see only a certain side of yachting, but they only see what the people on Below Deck want you to see. So what Total Ship Show is, well, I guess explain it. Explain, what is Total Ship Show?
Yeah, I think, when I started the industry, it was in Below Deck, and I fell in love with the industry for what it is. And I think a lot of people watching the show fell in love with the show for that reason, because they aren't familiar with the yachting industry and they wanted to learn more about it. And I get so many questions every week, like, how do I get into the yachting industry, or what's it like? How do you guys, where do you guys sleep? What do you guys do? All these kind of questions that people get from watching the show. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about just kind of showing what happens behind the scenes in the industry all year round, and on actual boats, and kind of some of the crazy stories, some of the topics that need to be discussed in the industry. That's what I want to get into.
I love it. And we all know it's a dangerous industry, but that's kind of something else that we go into on the show too, is that you talk about some of these stories that it's not public knowledge, a lot of these stories. I mean, it's extremely dangerous what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the side of the show is, they do show everything, but there hasn't been any major accidents or anything on the show that I'm aware of to date. And that's one thing about the actual industry, is it's quite hazardous, not just yachting, but all the maritime, like shipping industry and cargo industry. There's accidents that happen all the time, all over the world, and they're really interesting. So, kind of shedding a light on that, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. And it was, I think, Captain Lee, that's just OG Below Deck, that one deckhand, or I don't know, I don't want to say the titles incorrectly, but he got drug into the water by a
line.
Yeah.
That happened. And that was really serious. Like a camera crew member had to jump in and intervene and save him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and just kind of showing how common that is around our industry and why these things happen. And yeah, I fell in love with yachting, so I just want to share my love for it.
It's a great first season. And some of the guests that you have on for your first season, who are they?
Yeah, it's a lot of below deck heavy this first season because I kind of wanted to take the chance to show everyone the people behind the camera. Like a lot of my castmates, like Bobby Giancola will be on there. He's no longer a yachty; he's a broker. So, kind of sharing his story from being a yachty turning into a broker. Katie Flood will be on there, sharing her Chief Stew stories. Kate Chastain, like I've only just recently met Kate in person, so kind of sharing who Kate is with before the franchise, and she's really interesting and she's got some crazy stories. So yeah, just some fun stuff.
It's going to be great. And then we're already getting ready for season 2. If we can ever nail you down on a schedule,
Yeah.
we'll get season 2 going. But we're all so proud of the show here, and we love you, and we love Amanda, your co-host, who's your best friend from Denver.
Yes. Yeah. We met in college. We met in Boulder, Colorado, and she's just the perfect co-host because she has no clue what yachting is. So she'll kind of have the perspective of a lot of the fans out there that aren't in yachting or have no clue. So she'll ask all the questions in that kind of sense.
Yeah. And I've noticed too, just by watching hours and hours of the show while I'm editing it, a lot of the terms that you guys use in your industry are terms that we use that aren't in your industry, and we have no idea what they mean. I didn't realize that the bitter end was the end of an anchor line. Right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Because people always say stick around to the bitter end. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I heard you say that in one of the episodes. I'm like, what? That's what that means? I had no clue.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess there's a few things, but yeah, like people say like, oh, roger that. But a lot of that's maritime as well. Military or maritime, and yeah, a few things.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. The show is out now. We have links in the everything, whatever, links on the description of the podcast to go. But you can go just search Total Ship Show anywhere you get your podcast, and also on YouTube as well. Malia, we love you. We're proud of you. And thank you for this show. It's awesome.
Thanks, Pat. I can't wait.
So Nick says in the comments, we're in the Matrix watching Pat watch his own podcast, which I totally get that.
Yeah. It's funny watching you ask a question. You realize you just answered the whole question. You stop yourself and say, no, okay, you go ahead.
Yeah, you do. You're the person who's supposed to be talking. I've done it my whole life. So it's kind of funny because a lot of her podcast is about, dangers at sea. And so the day that we released this on Tuesday, she got injured on deck and posted this picture of the end of an anchor crane or whatever crane. The end of it smacked her in the face. I think it cracked her nose and concussion or whatever. So it just goes to show you, she's like, yeah, it's so ironic. The day we release, I get injured. So
truly is.
It's a cool show. It's a fun show.
Awesome. Yeah. So check it out because the first episode's out.
That's right. Next Tuesday with Eddie Lucas. And that's a good one because he tells a story about how he almost died on a tugboat. He's on the tugboats a lot of the time when he's not on yachts, and how he almost died.
That's quite the difference, tugboat and yacht.
Right?
Runs the gamut. Completely runs the gamut. All right. So I think we got everything. We don't have any TikToks today. Reagan's not here.
Yeah. We'll get some. We'll do double next time. That
sounds good. Yeah, cool.
Okay. So we wanted you guys go to, if you're not on our Facebook, YouTube, or on Twitter, just go to It's Pat and JT. You can text us 402-403-9478. What else can you do? You can email us, hey@patandjt.com. That's also something else you can do.
Yeah.
And just thank you guys for listening, sharing the show, and rating and reviewing.
All the contacts are on our website.
Yeah, they are. That's right, patandjt.com. Forgot about that. Thank you guys. Thanks.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Huda Media Production.